episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 6, Episode 20.
Or Episode 138 if you're counting.
Thanks as always to the Patreon contributors at patreon.com/MarsGirl.
Yes.
You guys continue to make this show happen. I really, greatly, truly appreciate it. And it's not like one of the stories that's going to be talked about later today where douchebags are contributing. You guys are fantastic people. And I greatly appreciate your help and your contributions that always make this show go on. There's maybe, another four
episodes after tonight.
Season? Yeah. So another 4 more weeks, guys, and then we're going to go on a break, and, yep.
Yeah, that's a break. And that'll be it for this season, and then we'll take a month off, usually, and then come back with season 7.
Man, have we been doing it that long?
We have.
That's insane to me. But it's funny how seasons don't actually correspond with how many years we've been doing it, though.
No, because we've been doing it, 4 years now?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, so that's still something.
Yeah, something to that. It's at least 3 years.
For the most part, we are never gonna moth it, you guys. we will not do that. That will not happen on this channel, sir. No way.
Not unless there are some really extreme circumstances, and it most certainly is not going to be because of padding and not being able to figure out what the heck we're actually going to do.
No. We more or less know what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is why you guys are here. You like knowing that we know what's going on, and you come to hear us talk about it, and then we talk about it with you at the end of the show.
Or
nice.
Sometimes we don't know what's going on, and we're just kind of talking out of our butts. You know, that happens sometimes.
Sometimes it's the robot uprising. Tonight's not the robot okay, there might be a follow-up that has something to... You know what, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay. So we still have not seen the Warcraft movie.
We did, however, see Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of talked about that. Did we talk about that last week?
No, because we did it last Friday, so we didn't have a chance to talk about it on the show, which is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to review it or anything. It's interesting how all of my other fellow critic-type friends, really didn't like the film, but I thought it was fun. I typically hate things that everybody else likes, and so I thought, well, if everybody hates it, it must legitimately be bad, but I don't know, I just sort of felt like, nope, this felt like a cartoon, all right, and it felt like the cartoon that I grew up with, and that's like all I cared about and all I wanted.
Because for some of you who came out for it, last week we did a live stream of Sakura Wars, or Sakura Tyson, depending on how you're familiar with the title. We did that stream. Immediately after the stream, 3 of us, you, me, and Chris, went straight to the movie theater.
That's right, that's what happened.
And then, from there, you've heard us talk about it on the show, we're mildly hesitant, but it looks better than the first one. I can calmly say it was.
I mean, I thought so, because all I wanted was for them to, embrace how stupid the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles actually kind of are. But, they're awesome kind of stupid. When I say stupid, I don't mean that,
oh my god, stupid, don't watch. No, it was funny.
I thought it was.
I had a few gut laughs, I'm not gonna lie. Really, Michelangelo's writing and then a few choice lines by Raphael here and there really made me laugh. And then all the references throughout the material to Turtles lore, it's oh, you guys actually paid attention this time.
Yeah, rather than trying to rewrite it. And there are some people, I know, Phaelus wants it to be a little more gritty, and it wants it to have more grit and depth to it, and I'm sort of, the original comics did have grit, but it was parody, because it was making fun of everything that Turtles, that comics were at that point in time, and so to me, I always thought the Turtles were supposed to be some kind of funny. And I thought this movie did that just fine.
I mean, in comparison, still, it's not like other things don't exist. If you didn't like this one, you still have the 90 movie.
Yeah, 90s.
Or 90s movie. It's fine. You'll live. I promise.
I promise, yeah.
But no, it's not nearly as bad as people are making it out to be, at least for my money. Mm-hmm. I paid money to go see it, and I'm happy with the money I paid.
Yeah, I agree.
But yes, we are probably going to go see Warcraft probably tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Yes, we've heard some of the reviews right now. It's kind of the same situation there. I have next to no Warcraft knowledge whatsoever. I know one character name, and then you're the one who plays WoW.
Yeah, and I played some previous Warcraft titles, and, I mean, there's not a whole heck of a lot of lore. There is and there isn't. Especially in World of Warcraft, the lore is kind of all over the place. So my understanding is that the Warcraft movie follows some of that lore. I think a lot of people are just like, it's falling into obscurity because it is generic-looking fantasy movie. That's what I'm hearing. We'll find out for ourselves.
Yeah, because all I know is like orcs for the Horde and what's his Duralax. That's his name, right?
Durotar.
Durotan. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Durotar is the city. Durotan is the dude it's named after.
Duralax is a laxative.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
it's all in there somewhere.
So in any case, there's actually quite a bit of you here tonight, even though it's a Friday night instead of a Thursday. So thank you for your patience with us as we readjust some things within our own lives in order to do this show. I'm glad you guys are all here. We can totally talk about our news stories that we're going to be talking about.
Yes. So go ahead and talk about our first story.
Yeah.
Since we kind of hinted at it there.
So of course we're going to be talking about this story a little bit later. The first one is going to be in regards to people do live streaming. I do live streaming. I do live game streaming, and sometimes donations come in, and that is so well appreciated, but sometimes it gets suspicious when really large, like $11,000 worth of donations start pouring in. This happened to somebody. This happened with a particular person who was donating not out of kindness, but out of being a troll, but PayPal is like, haha, screw you. So I'll elaborate more on that later.
And then, of course, our second story for the evening revolves around the newly released trailer for LEGO Dimensions Year 2 with a ton of new licenses, a lot of it stemming very highly from 80s nostalgia. So we'll talk to you guys about what that means for the series, who's actually involved, and really how badly we kind of want to pick up a pack.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then finally, so what is going on with Marvel showing up potentially at San Diego Comic-Con?
There's a very strong lead-in right now that both the directors of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Doctor Strange will in fact be making appearances and maybe actually having panels at San Diego Comic-Con. This, of course, being in contrast with last year when Marvel decided to decline going to San Diego Comic-Con in favor of D23. So we'll talk to you guys about that, what could possibly be entailed there, and the other people who might show up with them.
Yes, very interesting. So for now, though, until we get to that point, Josh, as always, has follow-ups for us.
Is always has follow-ups. Yes.
It always has.
That's what you said.
As always.
Oh, I thought you said is always.
As always.
As always.
Has follow-ups for us.
Even more better. All right, so I got you another present.
What
No, not quite Justice League news this week.
Oh, good. So I deleted it from the timeline of pictures I was gonna throw up today, and then I thought, what if he throws more Not Quite Justice League at me?
You made the one.
So then when I went in and I downloaded it again, and I put it in our timeline. So
but we're not gonna need it. Ha! All right.
Oh yeah, well guess what? Cause like there it is anyway. Thanks,
because
Josh.
we'll talk about it anyway.
Okay, there it goes.
And now we're not talking about it. All right, so let's get to the actual WB news, since that's usually where we start off. Man, you can see straight through that Mountain Dew. Look at that.
Sure can.
Okay, so first things first, we're going to talk about WB TV. So we're being given all this new news about casting for the next seasons of Flash, Gotham, and Supergirl, respectively. Over on Flash, they say they're going to add a new character who is apparently going to become Barry's contemporary, but wants to find out more about him while keeping secrets of his own, which could mean just about anything. A lot of people are hoping it's another hero added to the roster, but they can't confirm anything just yet. Definitely what they can confirm over on Gotham is that they're adding the character Vicky Vale to the show, and the odd thing about that being the character is going to be a reporter in her 20s. For those of you that remember the 1989 movie, she was, of course, an off-again, on-again girlfriend of Bruce Wayne, but Bruce Wayne here still hasn't, dropped register and vocal cords and growing hair in weird places. So that's going to be kind of weird.
That's at least a 10-year difference, right?
More than likely, yes.
At least a
10-year difference. How are they going to... Do you people not remember how weird it is having, Jake Lloyd say things to Natalie Portman in episode 1? I don't want something like that again.
That's only a 5-year difference, though.
Yeah, but it still looked really bad. I don't want, I kind of understand, this past season where they brought in Silver St. Cloud, and she's more Bruce's age, but she's already kind of a slut or something, the way they wrote her. But here, it's like, when there's a 10-year gap, like, what interaction are they going to have? What conversation can they possibly have? Bruce will literally only have, so, you like stuff? And that's it. And she's like, sorry, I got work. I gotta go. Like, where's that gonna go?
No, I know where it's gonna go, and it's gonna be like, so, I have money. And, like, he just comes at
he's gonna go straight for the money play.
Yeah, just that direct, because he's a child, and
Oh, I love this here in the chat. Are you an angel? Because I'm Batman! I want them to say that so hard now. Thank you, Moonbeam. Okay, but moving on to, or really back over to CW, over on Supergirl, they have in fact confirmed major news here. They will be casting the role of Clark Kent / Superman for the first 2 episodes of the show.
That's kind of insane.
That is insane, because we haven't actually seen a Superman on screen since friggin' Dean Cain.
Yeah.
And no, I do not count Tom Welling at the last bit of Smallville, because that was a cop-out and everybody knows it. We wanted to see him there fully, not some faraway shot. No, I'm not buying that.
No Superman since Lois and Clark.
No Superman since Lois and Clark. So, yes, a lot of people are hoping that Tom Welling will agree to come back. I'm not holding my breath, obviously. Breath. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Whoever they do get, they're going to have to let us know very soon, because they're getting ready to start filming for this next season. Okay, moving on to some animated Warner Brothers news. So The Killing Joke, which will, of course, be premiering at San Diego Comic-Con, will have a movie premiere across the country for one night only.
I want to go.
Yes, and that's going to be July the 25th. There's going to be 2 showings, a 7:30 showing and a 10 o'clock showing. So be on the lookout, check your local listings for a theater that's playing it. Yeah, absolutely will go.
I know for sure that, especially since some of that recent artwork of Joker and Batgirl came to, very, very recent in the grand scheme of things, not anytime too recent. But ever since then, everybody suddenly decided that The Killing Joke was not as cool as everybody once thought that it was. But I think it was an important moment in comic history, and I think that this animated movie, for what it looks like it's trying to do, is going to be an important point in Warner Brothers' DC animation history. So.
Following up with that, after The Killing Joke, the next apparent project from Warner Brothers Animation will be a movie based off Justice League Dark. So we're going to be getting that in animated form before we see it in live-action form.
That's
that, of course, having the likes of Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Constantine, and many other people on that roster. But it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. They might be following the same route as, say, something like Suicide Squad, where they try it out in animated form, see how well it sells, and then use that to push to the live-action portion. Hey, can we actually develop this into a film now? So we've got that.
Cool.
Also, on the video game front, we got to look at our first teaser from the sequel to the fighting game Injustice: Gods Among Us, Injustice 2. And what we have here is a picture there of Batman and Flash facing off against one another.
They're very darkly lit.
Yes.
Almost silhouetted.
It's interesting to see what they're going for, what they're going to be bringing to this new game, because apparently they've only teased maybe about 5 characters here in this trailer, and now everybody apparently has the ability to put armor on at will, like Iron Man, which is weird, because why does Superman need armor? That's the
yeah.
I had that question with toys growing up. Why does Superman need armor? He's friggin' Superman. Like, okay, fine, if he needs to breathe in space, I'll buy that one, but other than that, he doesn't need armor.
Yeah, I understand.
If he needs the lead suit, fine, but he doesn't need, like, power armor to take on the Flash. Like, what is this mess?
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, but okay, you're already suspending your disbelief to be believing in superheroes. Okay, for the sake of a fighting game, maybe I'll let it slide.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, so moving on to some other movie news. Excellent news that we've had to report here. We've, of course, been following very closely the development of Pacific Rim 2 as it's getting closer and closer. 2 things that we can confirm now. From the mouth of Guillermo del Toro, they are going to start filming very soon.
That's good.
And the other thing, which has been blowing up the internet, we have a star now, and that is John Boyega. Show him here. Now, this is, of course, fan art putting John Boyega's head on Idris Elba's character, Stacker Pentecost's body. That being, the reason for that being is that he will be playing Stacker Pentecost's son in the upcoming movie, and I could not be happier for this.
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be a totally fun ride like the first one was.
Yeah, exactly, and you think
kind
about it...
Kind of insane, but that's, I don't care, that's all I really wanted, really.
Like, I just... The way, the enjoyment, the energy that he brought from those dogfighting scenes there, in The Force Awakens. I want to see him bring that, plus a little bit of Idris Elba sunk in there of the intensity of him piloting a Jaeger alongside whoever else he can team up with. My guess is because he's Stacker Pentecost son, they have to team him up with Mako at some point.
Maybe.
Because they have that father figure in common, they might be more drift compatible.
Or what if he's piloting with his father?
He's dead.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
What would be nice though is kind of the reason I proposed him and Mako is that if they're drifting together, if they've got a very strong psychic picture of him, maybe he can come back in some form. That's possible,
yeah.
So yes, absolutely looking forward to that. I'd love to see who he actually gets teamed up with. But yes, the more Pacific Rim 2 becomes a reality, the happier and more hype I get.
Yes.
All right, so let's go talk about depressing things. Kingdom Hearts. There's another trailer out for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
Like, why is that actually a title?
That is actually a title.
I think I've talked about this before in the past too. So, yeah, trailer for that exists, and it's footage from games that already exist. You know what? They're stalling.
They're stalling. And now,
so
at the end of this trailer, they tell you, oh, we've got more information to let you know about in the winter.
And not even at E3!
Not even at E3. Y'all are gonna release this right before E3 and then screw the pooch on that. You're just gonna skip it altogether.
Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't coming, guys.
It's not happening.
It's not. This is the new Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, this is the new Duke Nukem Forever. It's only a matter of time before we get Kingdom Hearts HD 2.9. I swear we're not stalling remix Turbo. It's coming.
It's coming.
Just watch. Okay, so moving on to some other news. Good news out of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. John Williams has agreed to come back and score the next Indiana Jones movie.
Okay.
And Star Wars Episode 8.
Okay.
So we get to hold on to those classic themes.
Although some people complained about Episode 7's soundtrack not sounding enough John Williams. Maybe because he also had some partnership with some other composers working along with him on this one.
I imagine,
and admittedly, he's getting up there in age.
That is true. But I imagine they'll give him a little bit more room to work now if people are expecting that. And we've seen that Disney is very much paying attention to how the fans are reacting to this. I hope to give him a little bit more reign over that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so moving on to some other news with movies. Ghost in the Shell is currently filming right now.
So they're doing it.
They're doing it. It's still moving forward, hate it or not.
This is not in development hell. It's a real thing.
It's still going. We had a picture on set there of Scarlett Johansson there, of course, as the Major, and of course her co-star there as Bato. The interesting thing to see about that is Bato, and this might have just been in between scenes. He looks like Bato, but he didn't have any water bottle caps over his eyes. Like, I can only hope it's in between scenes and he was taking them off or something, or it's something they might do in post. I'm just saying that's kind of iconic to the character that should be there.
I think so too, so we'll see. I mean, the character's there though, so yay.
Yay, alright. In other anime live-action adaptation news, we can bring you some picture, the one picture, from Full Metal Alchemist, which has started filming. Over in Italy right now, we have your first picture right here.
That's so interesting, because everybody's complaining about, they got an entirely Japanese cast, but they're filming in Italy?
Yeah, they went on location.
That's a very interesting choice for them.
I don't know if you can blow that up here. This
Perhaps.
Is Ryosuke Yamada there in the role of Edward Elric there on set in Italy. Having taken a look at this picture, he looks fine. He looks like any good cosplayer I've seen of Edward Elric. Having cosplayed 10 years ago Edward Elric myself, like, I can recognize an Edward Elric when I see one. I've been to anime conventions.
I mean,
like,
it's not going to be...
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any major changes to the costume.
His hair is bleached.
Or it's a wig, one or the other.
It kind of looks bleached. Maybe with extensions.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But that looks perfectly suitable to me. I mean,
it's a costume.
It's a costume.
I mean, Japan's not going to get their own properties wrong in the costume department.
Did you see Gatchaman?
Yeah, but they tried to redo everything about Gatchaman.
Yeah, but you can't say they won't screw up their own stuff. They've done.
I'm saying is they won't screw up their own costume if they're not also trying to completely and utterly reimagine the title.
Fair enough. Okay, so moving on to some other news. it came up in the feed, so we're just gonna talk about it at length. Disney reconfirmed that next year the Descendants movie is getting a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah,
thanks,
great.
Josh.
Thanks. We really needed that, Disney. That's a lot of new information there.
I know typically that wouldn't sound like something we would talk about, but
we
it's
covered
always
it.
Well, it's always a tie back. I think it was to our not our first episode, but the beta episode we did.
That first season, yeah.
It was either episode 1 or the beta episode where we talked about Descendants is gonna be a thing. That sounds stupid.
Yeah.
And then it was. So.
Yeah, so, go figure. Okay, let's go over to some Tokusatsu news. So, of course, Ultraman Orb is the next Ultraman series to be coming out. As we reported to you guys, that's going to be premiering on Amazon Prime over here in the States when that comes out. New news out of that is that legendary singer Ichiro Mizuki will be performing the theme.
Oh, I like Ichiro Mizuki.
Oh, yeah.
He always stands like this.
Yeah.
In all of his photos.
He's always got that quality to his voice.
And he has this muffler going on that I imagine it has wiring in it because it always looks like it's stationary blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
It's just sticking out of his neck.
Yes.
He's a very charismatic Anison artist.
Yes, love it. Over on the Kamen Rider side of things, so we have new information for the Kamen Rider Mach/Kamen Rider Heat movie coming out in November. They have released information about the devices that they're going to be using, Shift Harteron and Shift Ride Crosser. Now, these two devices will be what the individual characters will be using to transform into their new forms, Super Dead Heat Mach and Kamen Rider Heart. The thing to differentiate there is Mach will, of course, still be using a Mach driver. Heart will be using the Drive driver for some reason. Why that is, we don't know yet, but we just thought it was important to make that distinction. And the last bit of information we've got is relating to the movies coming out this summer, first weekend in August for Dobutsu Sensei Zyuohger and Kamen Rider Ghost. So, I don't know if you guys can see right there, we have both casts there. The interesting thing we want to point out is on the Ghost side of things, the two new characters there. One we, of course, reported to you about already, Kamen Rider Dark Ghost. We do have his identity now. He's apparently Alan's older brother who was thought to be dead and actually is.
Okay.
Because that kind of stuff happens on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the purple guy you see there looking a lot like Spectre for good reason. Zero Spectre, I believe is what they're referring to him as, is actually Makoto and Kanon's father. But they won't say whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy, just that he will be involved in the movie. But it's nice. At least they had parents at some point.
Yeah.
Instead of just...
Because that was never addressed up till this point,
No, it has not.
There.
Yeah, so that's interesting information to look forward to. Both those movies coming out later this summer in August. Very much looking forward to that. And that's all the follow-ups I got.
But there was.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
there's this thing.
It doesn't quite fall under Tokusatsu, but we thought it was worth mentioning. Okay, so this thing, right? All right, so Tamashii Nations, who does a number of different toys, things like SH Fig Arts and things of that nature, have put out this promo picture for a combining robot made out of the characters from Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
Rex, Ham, Slinky, Woody. Why? I don't understand.
'Cause it's a thing, I guess.
I guess.
Yay.
Okay, go figure. But yeah, that's going to be available later this year. It's weird. There's a odd commercial for it, and you get a storybook if you order it. Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and move on to our first story having to do with this troll on PayPal that got what he had coming to him.
Yeah, so, it's just a PayPal logo, but, it is kind of interesting information, coming out of, I'm reading this off of the Next Web, but it's been going around on, tons and tons of different news sites. Okay, so, there was a Twitch user, I guess he still, exists, by the name of iNexus_ninja, who started going around to different Twitch streamers. The first person he went to was a young woman who calls herself Legendary Leah, L-E-A, Legendary
Leah.
And soon, she's playing Hearthstone, released by Blizzard, the card game based on World of Warcraft.
Right.
And suddenly, people get donations. I've occasionally received donations. This is funded by PayPal right now, our show.
Right.
Or not PayPal, Patreon.
Patreon, yes.
But this woman started receiving $250 donations, and then it happened again, and again, and again, and it kept happening, and she's kind of like freaking out until like it eventually totaled up to $11,500, and of
given
course,
to just her.
To just her. But she wasn't the only person that received donations from iNexus_Ninja. He also started giving them to streamers like No Sleep TV, Soda Poppin', and Dizzy Kitten, and all of it together totaled almost $50,000.
That's a lot of scratch.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, and he's giving these donations through PayPal, but it turned out he was not doing it to be nice. He was doing it with every intention of waiting the 30 days out and then canceling those donations. Basically, if they spent any of that money over the 30 days of the month,
yes.
Then they would be screwed because they'd be left high and dry, and they would have their own fees coming at them, and that's just a horrible thing to do to a person. But the funny part of it is...
Yeah. See, this is the great part right here. This is the thing that makes me happy to hear.
Yeah, so then PayPal turns around and they're like, "Oh, you wanna cancel all these donations,
Yeah,
huh?
I totally... I'm just doing this to troll.
That's not a thing that we agree to in terms of service.
What?
See, you didn't pay for, like, an item or a service. You sent a donation, and you can't change your mind on a donation, so we can't honor the cancellation of that donation. So
that was a lot of money.
Yeah, there goes $50,000.
But that's $50,000.
It's not even your money either, is it, kid?
No, this is my parents' card, man.
That's
what happened.
That's the sweet part too, is that this is this person's parents' credit card being used. $50,000 worth. So this is an Australian dude, 18 years old, using his parents' credit card in order to charge all of these false or now truthful donations.
And the thing about it is, hopefully, in a case like this, whatever. I only feel so sorry for the kid, only so much because there was the ill intent attached to it. And the thing about it is, yeah, if you were planning on doing this and being a dick to somebody, basically that kind of money, I know at least in our situation, if we got gifted something like that, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Somebody receiving even just the $250, that's a lot. That means a lot to people who don't have very much. And if you're going to dick with them and make them feel that they've got some sort of hope, some sort of a boon coming in, and all this stuff's going to go right for them, and then you want to pull that out from under them because you want to get your jollies off, screw you, man.
Yeah, well, and apparently his parents, of course, are upset. He updated his Twitch channel to say something like, in basement getting whipped by parents, thanks YouTube, or something like that.
Because he wants to blame somebody else?
Because I guess Reddit is the one who figured out that this guy was being a dick and making these false charges and stuff. And, but I guess it seems that, those charges are going through because that card took the $50,000 worth. They're a rich family doing something. I don't know what it is, but they could afford it. Not like it's cool to just up and lose $50,000, but apparently that family could afford it. And apparently that dude is still active on Twitter and is just handing out free game codes for all kinds of different video games. Because he has that kind of money to burn, I guess, to buy up games and then give games out to people. But he wants to troll people. Now, why would anybody trust his free game codes?
Yeah, because after a certain point, if you're going to get trolled by somebody, if you've been caught basically trolling for the sum amount of about $50,000, who's going to trust you for anything? I don't want you to give me a dang tissue, much less a game code, all right? Because after a certain point, it's kind of the boy who cried wolf. At a certain point, I don't trust you.
Exactly.
And if, like you say, the money was covered, the money was taken out, then that's on you, buddy, and you've got to answer for that at your home.
Exactly. So I think that's so classy on PayPal's part too, to not have screwed all of these people out of their money. Because I bet if somebody complained hard enough, if it were a much smaller deal than PayPal, it probably does some nice customer service stuff to sometimes for some people. If bad things happen, every company does it. They bend to customers, but this is a big enough deal.
Well, see, I'm glad in this case that PayPal was able to see what happened instead of actually giving the refunds, because this could have very quickly turned into a bad story.
Yeah.
This could have been bad end very quickly, but no, they saw what was happening and very, I think, befittingly handled it. So, good on PayPal for not refunding the money. I mean, that's pretty much long and short of it right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Good job, PayPal. Thanks. And goodbye, PayPal.
And then just friendly reminder, don't troll.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Just don't do it.
Okay, what's next? Legos. Lego Dimensions.
All right, so Lego Dimensions
Can I
year
start
2.
this trailer? Yes, I can, I think. Yeah, there we go. We started that trailer.
So Lego Dimensions Year 2 has just been announced, and we're probably going to be hearing more about this going up through E3 here. The important thing to understand about this is that starting September 22nd, when this comes out, there's going to be a lot more IPs added to the game. Now, this game already has quite a few to begin with. Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Doctor Who, a lot of major, Scooby-Doo, major known things out there. When you go to the store, you see these on different things, but you can play with them in Lego form now, and that's of course one of the major reasons, at least I believe, that Disney Infinity couldn't compete, because when it's so very vast and varied, there's more of a draw there instead of just being limited to Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel. Here, of course, with the DC characters as well, you've got a vast array of play. It's not just a matter of you're dealing with a little statuette, which is cool to have and collect, but you can actually use them as Legos. You can recombine them. There's better playability, or replayability, as I should say. But now with this new set for Year 2, a ton of new IPs got added.
Oh, ridiculous! I am shocked that it's this many all in this one big drop. Maybe they're gonna do it slowly over time,
Maybe.
But to know that they already have each and every one of these properties in the works, like, oh my god, holy crap, that's...
Yeah.
So, you're mentioning so many 80s titles.
Well, yeah, no, I haven't even mentioned the new ones. Those are the ones that were in the first pack.
Yeah.
That's fine, and that's already appealing to a lot of people, and some of you guys are seeing this here as we add... we have the trailer rolling behind us. They're adding in the likes of The Goonies, Knight Rider, The A-Team, Gremlins, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Beetlejuice, and then you saw there at the end they're adding for Legendary Beasts and Where to Find Them from Harry Potter, Teen Titans Go, Sonic the friggin' Hedgehog showing up in this mofo.
Yeah, I was just kind of blown away. I've got, like, the Ghostbusters made sense.
Well, yeah, and just adding the female team, yeah, that's fine. That's timely.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's timely. Harry Potter, to an extent, is kind of timely.
Yeah, because the movie's coming out.
This other new Harry Potter-related titles coming out. And then we just see all sorts of new properties.
And there's another one right here, Mission Impossible. Like, who picked that one? Because that's clearly Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt back from the 96-97 Mission Impossible reboot movie, which is still a good movie, but it's just like, wow, you guys are reaching back there. Like, I didn't think anybody wanted it that bad. But then when you're talking about stuff like, Gremlins or the
Wizard of Oz, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Wicked Witch of the West.
And then, was it Gizmo right next to her?
Yeah.
Like, the question now that we're wondering about is this going to sell? We're not questioning that. It's going to sell.
Because here's my mentality on it, too. Remember how we were talking about, is this going to be a game changer for Disney Infinity? Well...
The answer was yes. I
would say that maybe Disney... perhaps got word in over how many multiple kind of properties we're going to get into Lego Dimensions, and then they second guessed and they were like, I don't know if we can keep this up against not just Skylanders, because Skylanders has notoriety and had been out there longer, but then Lego Dimensions comes in, and sometimes if there's just one thing out there that I think has overpowered the giant that is Disney, it might just be Legos, you know?
Yeah, because even Legos can get in on your stuff, because whereas, Disney Infinity had the exclusive Star Wars stuff, they haven't put it in Lego Dimensions, but there are, like, Lego Star Wars games, so there's still that reach over there from Lego. And so Lego, people have known it since they were little kids, and since they're putting in so many 80s properties, we were asking each other this before the show, they're not just selling this at kids anymore, are they? I mean, yeah, you've got Adventure Time there, and that,
this is totally...
that hits a gap there, but once you've got, like, the Goonies in there and Gremlins, that's 80s. Those are people our age.
This is adults that feel like kids still, and adults that now have kids and want to share these things with their kids. That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is, I don't doubt that they've put their money where their mouth is. Like, they've obviously got Mr. T voicing B.A. Baracus there in the A-Team van. I can only assume that, I can't remember his name, I just call him Mr. Feeney. Mr. Feeney will come back and be the voice of Kit for the Knight Rider set. We know our friend Chris is really excited about that set.
Yeah, for sure.
And then with all these other ones, the one thing we're kind of questioning is Powerpuff Girls is being added to the mix. And it's a question of, okay, are we talking about, like, the good Powerpuff Girls or this really questionable...
they have to use the voices that are currently being used, for example. So that's just the licensing it's going to be.
Well, crap. Well, I guess you can't win them all.
If it's in Lego form, it's not going to be poorly animated, Josh.
That's true. You are right about that.
We are talking still about Powerpuff Girls, yes, but they're going to look practically identical to the older Powerpuff Girls, and just because they sound different doesn't mean that they're going to look bad. Maybe their behavior will be tolerable.
At least here, we don't have to deal with the bad writing and characterization.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess.
Well, that actually does make me feel better about that. But the thing about it is, yes, of course, like some of you are here saying in the chat, this looks highly appealing. They knew what they were doing. This is a calculated move to make sure to reap in that sweet, sweet nostalgia money. The thing is, this is year 2. This is just the first real major expansion. I mean, there's been the little ones here and there, like when they added Doctor Who a few months out from the original release, but this is where we're at right now. What's next? For, say, a year from now, when year 3 is touted, it's going to be 90s stuff. It has to be. We're going to see, like, I'll call it right now and see if a year from now, we can call back to this episode and see if I was right. Like, a Fresh Prince set, a Power Rangers set, things like that. See if we can't get some of the Marvel people back, because they had a lot of Marvel cartoons growing up in the 90s. Things of that nature, and see if they don't show up. Because they're going to be banking on that. 90s nostalgia is big now.
Yeah.
It'll be bigger in a year when they spend a year getting all these licenses ready and figuring out, okay, what's the easiest way we can adapt this stuff and put it into the Lego game.
Yeah.
And that's really, it only takes so much, I guess that's the brilliant part about it. It only takes so much forethought to be able to purchase something, put it in the game, and people will be like, yeah, gimme, I'll pay the $12. Come on, I need to put this together. Yes. It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
This is gonna sell. I guarantee it's gonna sell. Again, I'm really not sure about. They haven't talked about the pacing of the release of each of these different properties.
No, just when it's gonna start at the end of September.
Because they can't possibly all drop all at the same time. That would be ludicrous.
No, they're not gonna do. They didn't do that with this last one. Like, remember the first of the game, it came out and it only had so many sets, and then they added in like Doctor Who and Ghostbusters down the line.
Yeah.
Or at least made those figures available.
Yes.
So they're going to pace this out. They'll probably start it off with the likes of, say, Adventure Time, Ghostbusters, because it's already out, adding the new female figures.
I see Ghostbusters coming first. Especially because that was right at the beginning of this trailer.
Well, yeah, and then, plus by that point, the movie will have been out for a while. So they want to make sure to get that out there and capitalize on it. And then after that, it'll be more of the 80s stuff. I imagine, like, Goonies, Knight Rider, and Gremlins will all come out around the same time. But that's just my guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't have a copy, but admittedly, looking at this, I'm tempted.
Cause I bought Disney Infinity and I played it for a little while. I was like, this is pretty cool. Okay, I'm done. And I put it off to the side.
Because there's not much. Oh, you see, I don't know that they would do a Rescue Ranger set because that's Disney.
Man. Because if why won't anyone touch Disney Afternoon stuff? why doesn't Disney do anything with Disney Afternoon stuff? And now why is Disney Infinity dead? And they never got to.
And they never got there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, don't worry. They'll stick all those characters in Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, wait.
It's never coming.
Yeah, it's never coming.
It's never coming.
But yeah, you guys go ahead and theorize there in the chat what you think they'll put in next year. But for right now, we've got all these, and I think that's pretty appealing.
Because now it's almost like anything could happen.
Kind of, yeah.
A little like anything could happen right now.
Less likely with Disney, but anything could happen.
Yes. Okay, bye.
Okay, yeah.
And then what's our last thing?
Last thing having to do with this coming San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay, I've totally got a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah, you do.
Like that, I had 2 Lego pictures apparently.
Yes, you did.
And then I had some not quite just. There's a Doctor Strange header.
Yeah, that'll work.
So I mean, it's not just Doctor Strange news.
No, it's not. The thing to point out here, and we'll start from the beginning, is that let's take you back to last year, last San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, by this point in the world we live in, San Diego Comic-Con is really, for my money, and I wish we could actually start this trend. I know they use the White House press dinner as the thing they call the nerd prom. Screw that mess. San Diego Comic-Con is the friggin' nerd prom.
Somewhat, yeah, but you have to realize it's not really a comic convention anymore. You know, this is about where you're starting to debut movies and generate.
Yeah, but it's still where the nerds go.
It is. It really is. I agree with that.
Yeah, so the thing about it is, over the last 10 years and then some, San Diego Comic-Con, of course, has been the place to go to for new information on your comics, but more so your TV shows, your movies, your new hype-worthy films and adaptations that are coming forward. And for a long time, Marvel had a very strong presence there at San Diego Comic-Con. I remember when they first revealed the Avengers cast there, everybody walked out on stage, everybody lost their dang minds. Wasn't that not the one where they had the mechanical pencil stabbing was for the Avengers?
I do not remember. I vaguely remember that story. I think you're right, though.
I think it was at the Avengers.
The Avengers.
If it wasn't for that one, it was for Age of Ultron. Point being, last year, for some... Well, it wasn't for an inexplicable reason. There was a perfectly logical reason. Marvel decided they would not be premiering any new footage there at San Diego Comic-Con. Since they were now under the Disney umbrella, they decided to forego that and premiere anything that they had at Disney's event D23. That, of course, being the place where Disney debuts all their movies and their shows and their upcoming features. Well, just recently, actually earlier today, Scott Derrickson, who is the director for Doctor Strange, tweeted out, will I be at Comic-Con this year? Here's a hint. And he tweets a picture of this picture you see here, a poster of Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange alongside a poster for San Diego Comic-Con, which of course tells me, oh, so you are going to be there.
Yeah, that's what he wants to say without it explicitly saying those words.
Yeah, that seems pretty no-duh. To follow that up, James Gunn, who of course is the director of Guardians of the Galaxy and its sequel, tweeted in relation to that, oh, really? You're going to be so close, I might have to come see you. Retweeting his picture there of San Diego Comic-Con and the Doctor Strange poster, which would also tell me, oh, so you're coming too.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty no-duh.
And he's saying that publicly, not, like, at him directly, so he says it out loud with a retweet so that everybody can see it, because he wants everybody to know.
Yeah, they want everybody to know.
That's what that is telling.
In the world we live in right now, that is marketing.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's over Twitter, everybody can see it. What is it? Several thousands of people saw this, and now there's an expectation. Oh, so we're going to get a Doctor Strange panel, more than likely, and a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 panel. Now, the thing about it is, we theorized last year, and I remember we called him out for it. Guys, why would you just... You had so many good things coming out, a lot of which we've seen already, like Civil War, a lot of upcoming movies as well. Why wouldn't you take the time to do that? You would kill there.
Yes.
But they wanted to go ahead and walk away and be like, no, you know what, we got this. You guys do whatever you want. And then we were complaining all the other studios didn't quite live up to what they could have shown in their absence. But now it looks like they're deciding to come back.
I think that's smart for them. There was question, I remember when we kind of talked about this last year, and we said, is it smart of them to skip out on San Diego Comic-Con and go do, what, D23? And some people were arguing, they don't even need Comic-Con. I wonder, though. I mean, they were so big, and the hype for example, Captain America Civil War being built up, and the way they build up this whole huge timeline of all of these Marvel movies, that hype was so big and so real that, yeah, maybe that year they didn't need Comic-Con.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But now, now that Civil War is out, that was the thing people were so strongly waiting for the most.
Yeah,
I
people
think
were hungry for it.
For a really long time. Now I think it's very smart of them to return to San Diego Comic-Con, where everybody's already going to be for everything else.
Yeah, and at a certain point it became an expectation. Oh, I'm going to see stuff from DC, I'm going to see stuff for TV, I'm going to see stuff from Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And then them sitting out last year, maybe it was some form of hubris, maybe they really didn't think they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think with these movies, specifically with Doctor Strange, which is still, even though Marvel kind of can just about print its own money, Doctor Strange is still just a little bit of a gamble. Just a little bit. So they need the backing of the fans to be able to see this and get the word out.
I think that's smart.
Because nowadays, we've got our people, whoever those people are, people you follow on Twitter, people who are live streaming or live blogging more often than not from the event, letting us know, hey, the footage is real. That's how we found out about friggin' Deadpool. That's how we get this stuff, and that's how grassroots movements to start pushing for this stuff like, guys, don't even worry about it. Doctor Strange, it's real. It's on the level. It's totally worth it. And then that builds hype, because the currency they deal with at these events is hype. You have to create as much of it as you can and spread it out. And that way, that's going to ensure the return on money. So, yeah, it's absolutely smart that they bring these two. Now, the two other things that are theorized, if there's already those two Marvel properties coming in, there's two more that they could potentially bring or tease. And those being Spider-Man Homecoming, which is getting ready to start filming, and Thor Ragnarok, which is also, finishing casting and starting to get ready to go into production as well. Those two could still use a push as well. And you remember when the first time Guardians of the Galaxy came, they had only been shooting a week when they showed that trailer, that teaser of, all of them in the lineup, and everybody was like, oh, this is totally unexpected. I didn't think it was going to look this cool. Give it to me.
Yeah. And I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of interested. And then when I saw it, I realized this was presented so much better than I expected. And so I think I'm starting to learn that, yeah, that's kind of an expectation I can continue to expect, really.
Now, the question here is, one, what are they going to show and how much are they going to show? Two, will these other movies potentially show up as well? And three, will they ever go back to skipping?
Skipping? What do you mean by skipping?
Skipping out on...
Oh, skipping out on Comic-Con.
Altogether and then sticking with D23.
If another movie... what do you think is the next biggest Marvel movie, then?
After... Well, no, Spider-Man Homecoming would be the next...
I think Homecoming does not need Comic-Con for it.
Potentially not. Because of of course, the huge response to Tom Holland in the role, but I think a lot of people want to see it, though.
I think it would be to their benefit to choose Comic-Con anyway, even though they probably don't need it, and that's because how do you go to Comic-Con and not see Spider-Man somewhere anyway?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's just one of the biggest household name comic book characters of all time.
So I would agree to that. Spider-Man probably Homecoming doesn't need it, but it would be smart.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Thor Ragnarok, I think it's smart that they stay there at San Diego Comic-Con, because it needs a little bit of a push, especially in a story like this where we're having to blend the Ragnarok story with, now they're telling us Planet Hulk's going to be in there a little bit, and the Thor movies haven't exactly been the top earner. They've earned their money, but they're not as top as, like, say, the Iron Mans or the Avengers assembly movies, where everybody's there. They're going to need the extra push.
Yes.
So I totally believe in that. I think the reason why, going back to the beginning of this, where Guardians of the Galaxy is going to show anything there at all, is because of the fact that it was the fan response that got it to be as big as it was. Because you remember almost 2 years ago exactly, when we went out to Disney at the Hollywood Studios, and they showed us that first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that was impressive that they did that for people, for any attendee of the park, and two, it sold me on the movie.
It absolutely sold me on the movie.
Doing that with people sold me on the movie.
So I think they definitely need that. With Doctor Strange, one of the things that has been a sticking point for a lot of people is the PR surrounding it. Of course, with the casting of Tilda Swinton there in the role of the Ancient One, people wondering, well, is it just overhyped because Benedict Cumberbatch is the flavor of the month? Is he really going to do the role? That's why I think they would be bringing it, because it's a safe bet. He needs that push. They want to, they want to make sure that it gets out there, because you remember a couple of weeks back when we were talking about the Doctor Strange trailer, even Cosmetic Cutie brought up that they need that to work to sell certain aspects of other movies down the road.
I agree with that, yeah.
And so if you're going to hedge your bet, you got to make sure it sells to begin with. Because if that sells, then it makes it easier for them to buy this product. And bottom line, since they still come back to Disney, it's all about money. They want to make sure they make their end on that. They don't want to end up like with, say, something this weekend, as an example, Ninja Turtles. #1 movie in the country. It only made a portion of its budget back because it cost $135 million to make. They only made 35, and you don't want to be #1 with such low numbers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't doubt that just because it's a Marvel movie, it won't make money. It'll make money.
Sure, of course.
But will it? The question is, will it perform? Will it
because
do the numbers?
If it doesn't do the numbers that they're looking for, especially like let's look, this is slightly different, but it's still under the Disney umbrella. To have been talking about Disney Infinity earlier, I think Disney Infinity stuff was selling, but I don't think it was selling to Disney's expectations. Thus, they changed their marketing. Thus, they pulled back.
Right.
So if it doesn't make Disney expectation numbers, even if we as measly little movie attenders think that it did pretty okay, Disney's not going to think so, and they're going to change their game plan. They're going to change the formula.
Now, here's the other thing to round out this section. Now that Marvel is coming back in some form at all, because, we've got some pretty strong teases here for Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like we talked about last year, we're going to have to talk about it again this year. What's going to be the response from DC and Warner Brothers?
Right.
Because now at this point, after we've gone through from Marvel Civil War and now from DC Not Quite Justice League, there's more of an expectation on both ends. Marvel has set the bar so high even for themselves, but there's already that 8-year plan in place of, we kind of trust where you're going. We want it. We're a little iffy about stuff, but we're along for the ride. They've got that. DC has to prove themselves again based off the critical response to Not Quite Justice League, and now they've got to do that against the direct competition there in the same building. Will they rise to the challenge?
They gotta prove that they're going to rise to the challenge, but they gotta prove that they're gonna do it in a very not stupid way.
Yes.
I am not positive that they will do it in a not stupid way.
Because the strongest things they've got right now is Wonder Woman's in the can. They're in post. So they've got a chance to show something there.
Suicide Squad's practically, it's done.
It's done. Yeah, they might still show us something.
Yeah.
Because that's still a full month ahead of release. So they can still show something from Suicide Squad. You're absolutely right. But then after that, we're starting with Justice League. And I completely forgot to bring that up in the dang follow-ups. Some of you guys saw on Twitter, I retweeted it. So J.K. Simmons got cast in the role of we know him as J. Jonah Jameson, but he's cast as Jim Gordon in Justice League. He got friggin' jacked for this role,
it's
all
pretty
right?
Funny. It's pretty funny.
Like, he looks like, you brought it up first, he looks like friggin' Master Roshi.
He does
with
look
that
like
giant
Master
beard.
Roshi. I didn't expect him to, because when you described it to me, I pictured, so he's like Master Roshi now, and you're like, yes, and I didn't realize he had the beard. I didn't know. And
the thing about it is, like, if you want to impress me for Justice League, tell me that in lieu of Superman not fighting, Jim Gordon decided to hit the gym so hard that he wanted to bench press Steppenwolf or Darkseid himself, and he's going to be fighting there right alongside Batman, like, yep, I'm here to do it. And, he's the replacement for Superman. I would almost prefer to see that at this point. But yeah, those are the two biggest things. They're going to have to show something from Justice League. They've got Wonder Woman. They've got they've got Suicide Squad. They might try to show us something from, say, The Flash, now that they've got a director.
Right.
It would be nice if we saw something from, say, Cyborg or Aquaman or Green Lantern Corps. See how you guys are going to fix that one.
Oh, please, tell me how you do that.
Because, you're still having to play catch-up. If they will acknowledge, just acknowledge that you screwed up. Because this whole time, even with this extended edition, which will be coming out around that time, or just a little before it, people will have even more to give them feedback on, like, hey, we paid for your movie, or we didn't pay for your movie, it was crap. We checked out your extended edition, that was crap, what are you going to give us now? And then that just puts it more in Marvel's favor to because there's no winner, but some people win
Yes.
at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, last year it was Deadpool.
Well, people say the same thing about E3. Who won E3? I think when you're talking about big premiere events, yeah, I think we can start talking about who's going to win San Diego Comic-Con at this point. Just like we can say who won E3.
Yeah, because even if you can't say who won, you can sure as hell say who lost.
Yes.
And so that's something we're going to be looking forward to here, to see who's still winning in this very obvious Marvel-DC rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's got their head together, they always have, they know what the game is, and they're playing it well. DC has to catch up, DC has to admit where they screwed up, and then fix it without having to waste more time or money.
Yes.
But they can't rush.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at from this. Hopefully we'll have some interesting footage from both. It'd be nice if the cast show up, have some nice little goodies for the audience. But
yeah, it'll happen.
But we'll see more of that once we get there.
Yes. I guess that's about it.
I guess that's about it, yeah.
Okay, then let me get rid of that picture. And yeah, so I guess we're going to round out the main portion of the episode for the evening. Thank you so much to everybody who came out here tonight. It was a pretty good attendance tonight for being an off night, and I'm so glad that you guys were all here. And if you are here live with us right now, I hope you'll continue to be here with us, because we're about to go into our additional half an hour of Q&A time, and I look forward to answering questions for you guys as always. And if you're not here with us live and you're watching this just here on YouTube sometime down the road, then I'm glad that you're watching, but I do hope that you will come out on Thursday nights. Sorry, it's Friday right now, but on Thursday nights.
Thursday's our normal night.
At 9 p.m. Central, here at youtube.com/MarsGirl/live, because we'd love to see you and love to get you guys hanging out with the other cool people here in the chat with us right now.
Yes. But of course, during the week, you can always talk to us over on social media, over on Twitter. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
And that having been said, that's been tonight's special Friday edition of Beyond the Black Realms. We'll be back with you guys next week at a regular time.
Alright, good night. Yay!